In today's video, we are going to be breaking down Derrick Rose and how he shoots the basketball. He has a soft spot in my heart because he tore his ACL roughly the same time as mine. So, of course, we both took a heck of a long time to come back from that injury, and I never did play professionally ever again. So, let's get down and let's check out Derrick Rose. So, as we can see here, Derrick Rose does shoot with a tilted stance. He is not squared up towards the rim. Now, from there, we want to really start with his base and move up into his shoulders and then up into his release, and what we do see. Now, from here, we do see that he is squared up away from the rim. He is not facing the rim. I know a lot of coaches, trainers, and players will say that you need to be squared up towards the rim. That's not necessarily true. It all comes down to your elbow, and this is very important. But coming down to his feet, they are also tilted away from the rim, and they are both up onto his toes. Now, slightly. What I mean by that is his lead foot, you always want to have your right foot in front of your left if you're right-handed, and of course it's mirrored on the left side if you are a left-handed player. From there, we want to see the ability to get both feet up onto his toes. Your calves are your fastest muscle in your body. It's a fast twitch muscle. This is essentially your torque to get up into the air when you are shooting. Your next muscles are your quads, the front of your legs. Those are essentially your horsepower, and then your lower back extending. These are the three major muscle groups into getting power into your shot. Because when you dip down, you want to have most of the time, you want to have your shoulders over your knees, over your toes, which from the other angles, we do see with Derrick Rose. From here, he brings that ball up the middle of his body. His gather is in front of his hips, and he brings it up into his set point. And his set point is roughly, it's a one motion shot, but his set point is roughly above his forehead, right in the middle. And this is the reason why we see his body tilted away from the rim, and that is his elbow. Now, the reason why players tilt their body away from the rim is when they cannot get their elbow in front of their shoulder towards the rim when they're squared up. So to have a very straight shot, you want to have your shoulder in line with your elbow towards the rim. This is number one on your aim. Next is to have that ball above the elbow, which we do see mostly right here. Now, this is why you will see players have a tilted body away from the rim. So if you're a coach or a trainer and you're not able to get a player to be squared towards the rim with their elbow and their shoulder in line with the rim, because if it's away from the rim, let's say it's pointed out, that ball is going to be going out this way. If it's too far under, it's going to be going out that way. So if you have a player who just cannot get their elbow underneath that ball and elbow in line with the shoulder to the rim, then have them tilt their body out slightly away from the rim like Derrick Rose is here, and they should be a higher percentage three-point shooter and just shooter in general. Now, his set point is where it is right now, which is above the forehead, right in the middle of the forehead anyways, and we do see his offhand being at the top quarter of that ball. What do we get from this? Well, when he shoots that ball, he releases that ball first from his left hand, which is very important. This is what you really want to see when you're shooting the basketball. You do not want to have a thumb flick majority of the time. There are times for a thumb flick, but this is generally not one of them unless your name is Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. There's reasons for it, and I've broken down those reasons for those players in their own videos. So from here, what do we see what's left? Well, his last finger that touches the ball is technically going to be the middle one. It does skip a frame rate here. However, what we can see is he is a three-finger shooter at the end. Of course, if you're a three-finger shooter, your last finger will always be the middle finger because it is the longest. Now, the reason why this is important is because, of course, he is able to get that ball over his elbow. And because he's able to get it over his elbow, that middle finger is going to be the finger that you want to release on. If this ball is off towards the left of your elbow, you generally want to have it go off of your ring finger and your middle finger. If your elbow is too far over towards the left side of the ball, then you would be looking at it being your pointer finger if you're right-handed and your middle finger. So these are some of the ways that you can augment your shot so that you can make your shot more common, or more often, I should say. When he does release that ball, he has his elbow above his forehead, which is very important. That's going to give him the arc on his shot. Why is that important? Well, having arc on your shot makes that rim look a bunch bigger. But something else that he does do after he releases his shot is that his hand does meet up with his guide hand. They cross. Now, a lot of players and everyone will say this is a no-no. However, it is only a no-no if you do it before you release the ball. If you do it after you release the ball, see how straight that follow through is? And then he drifts it over. That's partially because this player did hit his hand, but he does sometimes tend to have his arms crossed. Not always, but as long as that follow through is straight, that is all we are looking for most of the time. This player does force that arm to cross more than it normally does, and it was called a foul, or at least it should have been. And even after he got fouled, he tried to keep that hand up anyways. So altogether, a great shot. Now he does jump slightly forward, as we can see in this shot as well, but he is mostly an up and down shooter. You don't generally want to drift forwards, backwards, or sideways, because of course that will affect that ball when you are shooting it. Altogether, a fantastic shooting form, and I hope that it's given you some pointers on how to correct your own shot. Now, if you're looking to get more power on your shot, make sure to be able to do a lot of vertical jump training. The more power you need, the more hops you also need, so make sure to go check out my vertical jump training book down in the description below. Anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.